And Chivas right now sitting in 16th position. I don't know how Chemos are doing, but I'm sure they're doing a lot better.
Number 3, papá, pa que veas.
There you go.
Ahora, really quickly, I'm just in here to do like, at this point, it seems like every, 2-3 weeks, fucking Chivas helpline and make sure that you guys are still alive. No one has off themselves. Like I said, dude, I gave you all the tip. Just put a lemon in your mouth if you're going to commit to it.
Yeah, no, with us, we show face every week. Unlike some other people like Ricky Ricardo. Haven't heard from him in a long time. But hey, we're here. We're here to enjoy the pain at this point. We're masochists.
Hey, wait, here's my question. So is it cold and damp in the basement or what's going on down there? Because I typically only see Mazatlan, fucking Querétaro, like those type of teams down there. So, ¿cómo está el sótano?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Chivas Juarez on Saturday. They played around, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had mentioned earlier on the previous podcast, I was on the Juarez broadcast when they lost to Toluca 2-0. And they were talking about the upcoming schedule and how they were going to play Chivas next. And everybody on the broadcast was like, oh yeah, that's an easy game for us. And that really rubbed me the wrong way because, teams are not looking at Chivas the way they used to. We talked about that last pod. And in, typical Chivas fashion, they conceded their 4th consecutive PK in a row, right? This is tinfoil hat on. I don't know if they're out to get us. We're just getting some unlucky calls. But let's be honest, that PK on Saturday was very, very soft. They didn't even bother reviewing it. They just called it. And Chivas having to play from behind yet again. They just couldn't do it. They lost 2-1. The fans started turning on Piojo Alvarado. Habibi had given him shit. And I agree. I think it's time for us to take off the rose-shaded glasses and look at the reality and say, hey, man, you're not up to scruff right now. You shouldn't be a starter. And a lot of these players got booed. And the fans were very vocal during the game and after the game. They even beat up Saldivar's brother. I don't know if he deserved it, but no one's safe right now in Chivas.
Whoa, hold up. Is there videos of him getting the smoke? Like, if so, I need you to drop those right now because I'm all about it.
Yeah, there's like pictures and videos of him like crying to the police or to the security.
There was,
and then there's like an after photo.
Yeah, there was like a clip of him. I don't know where he was, but I don't know, and I don't know if it was him, but he was like kicking fans or something, and then they started to just beat his ass. And then I think his nose got broken, and Saldivar had to like go on social media and condemn the fans for doing that. But yeah, bro, everyone got the smoke on Saturday.
Look, bro, just like CEOs, let everybody know that it's on site, all right? The players are untouchable. Their families are untouchable, especially when you're out there giving the cheeks. Arrastrando el pinche legado. So, cuídense, putos.
Yeah, I want to see if I can play some of those sound bites. I mean, it's been pretty bad, right? Like, the fans really started chanting. And there was some fan reactions after the match, just basically calling out, you guys made a shit cake, now you got to eat it. I'll see if I can get the audio, but
yeah, I saw that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say one thing on that. Like, I feel like the vitriol is more towards the players than Melito. I think there's a big consensus out there that kind of still hopeful for Melito to turn it around, but it's on the players because we've all seen like a carousel of different coaches, and the majority of the players has been the same, and so like they're the common denominator, and a lot of people are waking up to that.
Yeah, Rifado, I do think that at this point he's going to be collateral damage to the overall just bad form of the players. I really don't know who to put the blame on. But there are two significant things that happened between our last episode and this episode. Puebla and Atlas got rid of their coaches, right? And coincidentally, We're in the middle of that sandwich. So Atlas are in 15th position. We're in 16th, and Puebla's in 17th, right? So if you're going off of the current trends, who knows how
But
short the
wasn't
leash is
Atlas
for
coach-
Milito.
No, he stays the whole season. Wasn't Atlas? They brought Coca back, but so the coach was from the last season.
Pineda.
I'm not sure.
Gonzo
I'm
Pineda.
not sure about Puebla. Yeah, so he was already there. I don't know about Puebla's coach. I don't know if he just started, or if he was there from last season. Milito just started. This is his first season. His preseason was pretty much, it was a bunch of weak teams. And I make the team look better than it was. I think they had like six wins in a row or something like that. They won all these copas that were like, I say chocolate, the chocolate, feel good type of thing. I think that's more on the club because you need to sell tickets. You need to hype the team. I think the GM, they haven't said much about the GM. I don't even know his name, but he brought Milito. He brought in some good players, so he's been doing a decent job. So he will look bad on his part because it's not like Milito is an experimental coach. He has a pretty good record, Libertadores final, right, runner up, which is no easy task. So I think they'll give him till the end of the season. The only way I would
don't
see
think
him
so, bro.
I'll tell you, the only way I see him getting canned is if the team was like cheeks, like they're getting their asses handed to them. They're losing 3-0, 4-0. They look like chickens running around with their head cut off. But it's been the opposite. The team has shown some good things. Some of these games they could have won or at the very least draw. But it's like you said early on, a lot of questionable calls, a lot of calls not going, a lot of calls not going Chivas' way. I saw that clip of I think it's Campillo getting double teamed. One player elbows him in the face and the other one handballs while they both crash into him, and that should have been a penalty.
Pero no mames, güey. Estaban jugando el pinche balón. Like, they weren't targeting the player. They were going for a fucking air ball. All right? A disputed ball, 50-50.
It's a contested ball. I'll give him that.
Bro,
but
like, pinches vatos llorones, güey. Aquí están. Pero no, en la pretemporada andaban, no, güey, que las Chivas va a partir madre. Que vamos a violar a todos. Que quién sabe qué no, güey.
No one's been saying that.
Ganaron contra equipos de segunda división, güey. No mamen. Look, aprendan lo que son, aprendan dónde están, y donde eso es en el pinche sótano in 16th spot. And if you want to hide behind the whole, oh, you know what? We're one game behind, this and that.
3 points, yes.
No mames, güey. Chivas isn't gonna. You mean you're gonna get 3 points against Tigres? No mames, güey. Even that's not true. The best that you can hope for is to get out of that match with 1 point.
That's the cine of Liga MX.
Wait, I've seen this movie. Les partieron la madre en 15 minutos en una final. No mames.
That was a few years back, but I think...
But the same core of players are still there.
No, I think fans forget, because when Almeida came in...
Ahí vamos otra vez. Hold on. So first your argument was that was 6 months back, and now you're going like what? 6 years or longer? No mames, güey. Your argument doesn't hold water.
Because I'm talking about...
So if we use your argument and apply it to Cruz Azul, it's the same core of players that let in 7 goals in 45 minutes. And like everything they do is shit from here on out.
Yeah, but we're still winning, unlike you guys.
No, my thing's more on the coach. My comparison is how it could be easy to lose faith on a coach. So I'm saying when Almeida came in his first season, he didn't make it to Liguilla. He failed. And then his second season was it was a pretty rough start. The only thing that helped him was that it was Dorados. Dorados just kept losing. They racked up like 6 defeats, and Chivas couldn't win a single game. I remember Cruz comes in, and then he starts winning. By this point, Chivas had, you know, they managed to finally make enough points. It was with that game against Monterrey when they kicked off. That was the big trophies game where his basically his homecoming. And it's kind of like something like that's missing with Chivas right now. I think that they'll get that game. There's good stuff being shown there. I think.
I will say though,
Yeah.
that we live in different times. Very impulsive decisions are being made in the Amekis, and also
I'm saying.
League's Cup, right? Like he had, call it what it is, a tune-up tournament to get this team going for Liga MX, and it's backfired. Like we haven't seen improvement. We haven't seen a formative starting 11. We haven't seen this team like convincing. It doesn't pass the eye test like a lot of people say on this podcast. And again, dude, we live in different times. Amaury spent a lot of money this offseason. Let's call it what it is. He brought in some decent refuerzos, and I'm sure he's not happy with the current run of play with this team.
Well, they spent more money when it was Almeida.
And the fans,
second season,
the fans are losing their patience with the front office, obviously, the players. And it's only a matter of time till Milito is gonna get the guillotine. Keep in mind, this is our schedule for the next couple games. We play Cruz Azul on Saturday, then we play a makeup game with Tigres, and then Toluca, man. O sea, it's not looking good.
Yeah, but if you're the directiva, you're just gonna look bad. You're gonna go from bad to worse. Like I said, the team's not exactly getting. They're not getting humiliated. It's not like they're dropping 7 goals in one half. They're putting up a fight. At least they score here. They miss penalties, but the chances are there. Team just has to click. But if they were to fire him, and then what? They're not bringing in another big name coach. This guy has at least a 2-year contract.
Milito's not a big name.
Right there. He's pretty, but I mean. He's big in the sense that he's recognizable.
We haven't had a big name coach since
leagues.
I think
by who? Who recognizes Milito?
Nobody.
What?
No mames, abuelo. No mames, güey. Respétate. ¿Ok? Respétate un pinche peso, güey. No mames.
I wouldn't even say
to like a Pep or to
I wouldn't even say
Gago.
I wouldn't say Gago was a big name either. Big as in they played for Real Madrid. Milito played for.
But they're more recognizable. They're more recognizable than the average Joe.
The whole thing about Milito is that his brother is recognizable,
exactly.
Not him. They confuse them all the fucking time.
I confused them.
All right, like come on, güey, Joel. Quiérete más, güey. Quiérete como yo te quiero a ti, güey. Por favor, respétate.
But see, you guys make it seem like anyone can get to a Libertadores final. That's a big deal for me if you can manage that.
And you're talking like Chivas can get to a Libertadores final. They can't even get into a liguilla. They can't even get into the League's Cup.
We can't even get to we can't even get a victory. We haven't won yet.
Wait, as of right now, the best that you can hope for is repechaje, which is fucking pathetic. That's what you're hoping for. Ahí es donde te estás colgando, güey. A lo mejor podemos jugar el pinche play-in.
Maybe we can extend this agony another, 2 games. Is what we're. Look, man. All I know is, I know if you're Amaury, you're not happy, right? You, especially because the fans were giving him shit for like not investing in the club and not spending, and calling him broke. And you went out. You got Richie Ledesma. You got Efrain Alvarez. You were able to negotiate Campillo's return, right? So.
Yeah,
I'd be pissed, man. It's like, hey, I gave you it's not a Ferrari, right? But you're turning it into a Fiat for sure.
Yeah, but it's not like exactly Chivas was kicking ass and taking names. They've just been,
It's okay. I'm gonna rescue you away. Yeah. You're lost for words. I get it. It's not like Chivas was doing anything. Chivas was
Right,
dying and
that's
shitting
what I'm
themselves.
saying. Well, don't say shit in this, but it's not like they were exactly like, this team that had been dumped, like had a run like Toluca or anything like that. They've been struggling. That's the reality of the team, and I think fans for a long time don't want to accept that reality, and they think just because some money was spent that it's automatic that the team needs to. And it's like, guess what? Everyone else is spending money. All the other teams are also getting refuerzos, even better players. So not exactly a guarantee just because you brought these guys in, and it takes a while. It could take a while for the team to mesh to get into this dude's style, or for him to find his squad, to find the players that work, best for him. And and that's the whole thing with the short season, that's like 4 games, and it's like that's it. Yo madre, put it to the trash and start again. And it's I would give him the whole season and then wait till the next one. But to just fire him, and then what? Put what do they call him?
Interim.
Interino. Put the
Caretaker.
Interino, and then that dude looks cheeks. And then the next coach coming in already is coming in with a bag of shit waiting for him, flaming one at that. So it's
personally, I do think that we might be jumping the gun and prematurely like giving him the axe. Like personally, I think that he should see this season through. But the reality is, this is Liga MX. Again, decisions are made impulsively, and I know that if this starts affecting attendance, it's going to be a problem for Milito. And we have a tough schedule. Let's call it what it is. We have a tough schedule, and if we get embarrassed in some of these fixtures, I just don't see him surviving this season. I really don't. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's like, oh, we have to start this process all over again. You get to a certain point where the players aren't executing on your vision or whatever. It's time to go, man.
Yeah, dude. And it was this, and that's the other thing. Did Milito even have a say in the players? That happens a lot of times too. So sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes it does.
Wait, Milito was announced before any of those signings went through. Milito's one of those that was like way the fuck ahead, because you just mentioned it yourself. So what are we gonna do? Bring another interinato? That's what you had. You had time to work. You had time to do what you were supposed to. But guess what?
They did, yeah.
Chivas fucking drops a proverbial bag every fucking time.
Well, then supposedly they were going after that other guy, the Spaniard. I don't even know how that guy's doing.
Now, you said something very interesting, right? About how everyone's spending money, everyone's doing these things, and they're getting better players. So my question is, what can Chivas do to get better players, to bring better talent into their ranks?
Well,
spend more money.
They're going to have to make a world-class youth academy, because the pool out there is not good.
I mean, we've talked about this before. You mean to tell me that you're Mexican enough to represent the Mexican national team, yet you're not Mexican enough to play for Chivas, but at the same time, I can have un pinche gringo que no habla español in my ranks?
Well, they changed the rules now. That's why they're allowing it now.
I don't know, man. Seems kind of sus.
Right. No, but like saying they let Cowell would have not played a few years back. He would not, him being called up to the U.S. national team, they would not have allowed him. So it's kind of unfair for, I forgot his name, Mexican-born, but he played for Peru, and he was treated unfairly.
Ormeño.
Yeah, thank you. It was Ormeño. It's kind of fucked up. He was a wicker man. The effigy had to burn, and now nobody gives a shit. And they were already with open cheeks trying to welcome the Argentine guy that ended up at Cruz Azul. And it's like the one guy born in Max was getting they're throwing tomatoes at him. These other guys born outside and having played in other national teams, and And here's the Chiva faithful, spreading them cheeks, hoping these guys would come in.
We have Tomas joining us. Maybe he can give us his perspective. Tomas, welcome.
What's up, boys? I'm just sitting here in the background listening to a distraught Chivas fan base, and I'm not a club guy, but I can feel the pain. And I think you guys are maybe not all of you, but some of you might be in a state of denial. It's like what is that syndrome? The
Stockholm?
hostage. Yes, Stockholm syndrome, where you begin to sympathize or empathize with your capture, right? And that might be happening with Chivas, where you consider yourself one of the grandes of Liga MX. So I think that as a Chivas fan, you need to demand better results and higher standards. And how do you do that? It may seem like a lost cause, but simply through viewership and attendance at games, and just when you see bullshit.
Tomas,
What's that?
it's been 40, maybe 50 years that Chivas has not been like a dominant team. Like one championship.
Am I mistaken?
Every 10 years.
They market themselves that way, though, right?
Yeah, because they
So that's the thing, though. Like,
that era.
right? That's the thing. Like, if you're going to market yourself as uno de los grandes, comport yourself like a grande, and if you don't, then there needs to be repercussions. And
well, historically they are, right? Historically, they are a grande for what they mean to soccer in Mexico and whatnot. But
I don't know a lot about their coach now, but the turmoil of like hiring and firing, that in itself is usually it's not productive, right? So maybe this guy that they have in right now, it's not a bad idea. Just let him ride out the season. But I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it just seems like from an outsider's point of view that Chivas is like an ongoing novela. I have a Tío who's a diehard Chivas fan. My neighbor is a Chivas fan, and every match they get the family out there and they prep, they tailgate, they do the whole thing, and then they always walk away like so pissed. And I'm like, man, you guys are investing so much emotional interest into it, and it's like I feel for you guys. So it's like I don't know. It's probably easier said than done, but for sure, they need to be held to higher standards, or at least the fans need to show a more restraint.
To me, I don't hold them to higher standards because I've seen the reality of the team. I've seen it years ago. I was telling people they're getting mad.
So would you say that you're very close to walking away from the abusive relationship, or are you saying like, hey, this is my chick, and I'm going to accept her flaws for the way it is, and I'm going to ride it out?
I think the abuse is self-inflicted, man. I think the abuse is self-inflicted.
Oh, shit, some trauma there.
I think once you see the reality of like what happened with the league, you know how it changed. You know, very, very similar to how in England, once it became Premier League, you know, the whole landscape changed. And all of a sudden you had teams like Man United that became a grande, Man City, some of these Chelsea, some of these teams historically they weren't the big teams. It's kind of the same in Mexico. Once, you know, or
do you think in Liga MX there is a new, like, for example, you take America, right? Do you think that the typical America fan is one that is like, I don't say like IQ level crazy high, but do you think that they hold themselves to a higher standard, and then they hold the team to a higher standard where it's like, if you guys don't produce, like you're the coach and they're on the chopping block? Or do you think it's just more so?
I remember that they went 13 years without winning shit.
Let me jump in here. All right, really quickly. Thomas, let me explain to you, like, in the simplest terms that I can about these old fucks in Chivas. They got too much cry and stay in them, bro. Like, it's kind of like Cardi B, right? She can get cheated on all over again as multiple times, but she's always going to be a ride or die. She's not going to go anywhere. Like, that's your girl. That's what they do. Too much cry and stay. Now, about Las Huilas, bro, it's a little bit of both. Like, one, the IQ level, definitely stupid low, right? Like, have you ever heard them speak? No mames, güey. Hablan como un pinche chofer de microbús. Now, the thing is, las huilas, when it's not a good time for the team, ellos exigen, right? They're out there. They're fucking like, están chingando la madre. It's the best way that I can explain it. But the other thing is, they also disappear. You stop hearing about them. Like, best case in point,
they start deflecting.
Where's Ricky? Exactly. Where's Ricky? Where's Ron? ¿Dónde están esos cabrones? They don't come around.
And because they own Televisa, again, they just start deflecting and starting to focus on other teams. Like right now, it's, bashing Chivas left and right, talking shit about them, because it takes away the spotlight from America when they're not doing so hot.
So I just want to chime in. I had some technical difficulties, but I wanted to kind of defend this football sexo de Milito, because I do think it's good. I think if we look at the details, we'll see that we had 11 shots to Juarez's 6. We had 5 on target to their 3, 69% to 31% ball possession. So we basically dominated the game. And this is what I mean by like the eye test. Like we create more, but like just that final piece is missing. 4 PKs in a row. And also like we have the crutch of playing with only Mexicans, and especially young Mexicans. I think we had 7. We had 7 jovenazos, the most this jornada. It was Chivas with the most kids, and that's volatile. Like, they're not good all the time, like some of these veteranos. And so like I think there's a lot of issues that prevent us from being a really good team, but I do think there's a good team here, is what I'm trying to say.
Let me play an audio clip from a fan. I thought it was pretty hot.
Ya es momento, cabrón, que estos hijos... ¿Sí puedo? ¿Sí? Para mí ya es momento que estos hijos de puta, güey, se lleven su pedazote de pastel de culpa, cabrones. Tráguense su pedazote de pastel de la mierda que han construido, hijos de perra, güey. Ya se han chutado cantidad de técnicos. Cuando no es por Grillo, es por malos, cabrones, pero no dan una, respeten esto, cabrón. Este pinche escudo es más grande que toda su chingada carrera, cabrones. Hijos de su puta madre, respeten a la afición que viene a verlos. Güey, entrevistamos gente que viene de Querétaro, que viene de Estados Unidos, que viene de diferentes partes de la República Mexicana, hacen un puto esfuerzo increíble. Si yo vengo de Oblatos y me duele, cabrón, venir a ver esto, ahora imagínate la gente que viene lejos. Tengan vergüenza, hijos de su chingada madre. Agarren su rebanadota del pastel de cagada que ustedes cocinaron, cabrones, y tráguensela completa, cabrones.
I like that guy.
Poetry.
Yes.
Fucking poetry, bro.
Qué pinche Edgar Allan Poe, ni qué chingada, güey. Dame un pinche vato del barrio and I'm home.
Yeah, I think he hits the nail on the head. I remember a while, this was a few years back, and it was a Bielsa clip because his team, they ran into the bus, and he went inside and he told them off. And he was saying the same thing. There's people waiting out here, and they're like, this is the reason you have a job. And a lot of them make sacrifices and they come from far to see you. And you're doing this shit. He's like, get the fuck back out there and, show respect. And I do think I like that part from the fans more than the beating the shit out of a player. I laugh, but I would not find it funny if I was standing next to that dude. No. But this is the pressure that these players need. They definitely need to have that type, and to not to think that they're not being held accountable. Because
let's be honest,
like I said,
let's be honest. The brother probably was running his mouth, man. He was probably talking.
I'm anti-violence. Be refreshed. I'm surprised you have more barrio when it comes to that.
I've always said it. Joel is part of the bourgeoisie. He's not for the proletariat. And here it shows again.
No, I grew up in ultraviolence, so I just stay away from it.
Let's hear a different perspective. We have Johnny Rico joining us. Johnny.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Says don't show up.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good. All right, yeah, I heard some shit talking that Americanistas don't show up, so I couldn't let that slide. I had to jump on.
Let's hear it.
Johnny, I think you missed the most important part. It was also the low IQ portion. But please go ahead.
I'm having trouble hearing Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Can you hear us?
Johnny, disconnect and come back in, bro. Trust me, the stage is yours. We want to hear you.
Sound it out. Sound it out. Habibi's on. Habibi, can you hear us? How are you enjoying the Chivas fiasco? 16th position. You're on mute.
Sorry, my stuff was lagging. I was all Johnny, couldn't hear him, and then next thing you know, I was live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fiasco, man. I don't think it's half empty, half full. Apenas vamos en la jornada 5, so take that as how you want. It either means it's a very long road ahead of us, or it's still promising. I said it in the chat. I still have faith. I like what I've seen from the coaching side. That Garcia guy, the Spanish guy. I hated that guy before the season even started. I wasn't feeling the vibe. I think Milito's different, and I think he deserves a full tournament.
For sure. Yeah, I think with Chivas, again, having to play from behind with 4 consecutive PK calls, but that is an excuse. Also, the whole handicap only playing with Mexicans, that's also an excuse. We were in the final a couple years ago against Tigres. So it's like, this team, I'm not saying we should be world beaters. I'm not saying that we should be contenders, but we definitely should be doing a lot better than 16th position in between an Atlas and a Puebla and a Querétaro. It's embarrassing to be this bad. And we have a makeup game against Tigres, right? So technically, if we win that game, we have 6 points. We're now leapfrogging into potentially 10th or 11th, right? So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there, but still, it's very alarming to see this team just not get out of first gear 4 games into the season. Also, 3 Leagues Cup matches. Also, the preseason we had. It's not like Milito didn't have time to prepare this team. Obviously, you did have Efrain Alvarez, who was playing in the Gold Cup and didn't join the team until later. But nonetheless, the core of this team has been gelling for quite some time. And we just haven't seen the results. And at the end of the day, this is a results-driven business. Atlas and Puebla already fired their coaches. And I'm sure there's going to be some more firings soon. So we'll see.
So you're right. It is a results-driven business, but I'm going to say something like MLS hot take, no brain cells. Aside from the results, if you just watch the gameplay, you didn't know what the scoreboard was just from watching how the team plays, would you expect them to be the slow in the standings based on how they're playing?
Yes. Their midfield is shit. They're not generating. They're not attacking. They rely on the wings too much. Chivas is highly predictable.
I feel like everybody relies on the wings too much thanks to the 4-3-3.
I think the fact of the matter is that Milito is still finding his team. Let's look at the variables. Sepu starting a couple of games. Now he's not. Aguirre, I believe he had a red card, and so he missed a game. And then we're having this battle between Mozo and Ledesma on the right. But for this match, he opts to start, Ledesma centrally. And so, he's trying a lot of different stuff. We had no striker. I mean, I guess Ant-Man is a striker. So we had 1 striker as opposed to 2. And he's shifting things around. He's still looking for the best version of this team. And the format doesn't let you do that. It's a short tournament. You got to make the most amount of points and then, go off into the playoffs and hopefully win them. And so time to gel, I wouldn't say he's had an ample amount. I know he had the pre-tournaments, but that was against bums. So I don't know.
Wait. I will say that I disagree that he doesn't have ample time. If he's 3 points away from repechaje, I mean, he has plenty of time to turn it around. It doesn't matter who like the next rivals are, and he doesn't have the pressure of being in the bottom three and potentially get relegated. If there's relegation involved, he'd already be fired. Considering the fact he's so close to repechaje, I think he has plenty of time. And then the one thing I will say that is sad is that I know Pulido and Chicharito are past their prime, more on Chicharito, but you have Chicharito, Pulido, Wilke, Hormiga, and you can't find a striker. I mean, they all look promising under the right system.
Let's see if Johnny Rico got his audio fixed. Johnny, try again.
All right, here we go. Second time. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, I came on because I heard some people talking that Americanistas are not showing up because we're not having a good time as of late. We're on a downslope, and that's a reality. We are not playing at our best. But a downslope for us, that's still third place, undefeated. That's what a bad little racha feels like for Americanistas. So let's keep that in mind. If we were playing our best,
Channel your inner Ricardo right there.
That's just all Americanistas. All Americanistas like have this eye towards reality, that centers us of just how great we are, how small this league is in comparison. But yeah, that's where we're at. This is a rebuilding. We didn't get the fourth title in a row, so now we got to start a new journey, start a new set of four titles in a row. So that's what this season is: rebuilding, bringing in new talent. We got the French guy coming in. We got we rated Cholos again for their striker, just like we did with Henry Martin. So now we're rebuilding and we're coming back up.
Hey, Rico, I was just going to ask you, what are your thoughts on Alan Saint-Maximin? It looks like he has wasted no time packing on the weight and trying out all the delicacies here in Mexico. I'm sure he hasn't even like debuted yet, right? He doesn't look fit.
No, so I think he came a little stocky to Mexico already. But I think I saw a tweet from ESPN that he's been putting in 3 a days, triple sesión.
Three course meals 3 times a day, or what?
No, he'll go to like the regular training session with the team and then put in 2 sessions at the gym per day. He's trying to get ready, but you know what? At the end of the day, like I miss big, strong, fast guys up top, like
big black guys. Yeah,
big black like Chucho Benitez. That like his physicality reminds me a lot of Chucho Benitez, and God, do I miss Chucho Benitez.
R.I.P. So, they have a dish in French where they fatten a duck or a goose. It's like pretty savage, right? Like they don't let him move around that much. They fatten the liver. It's called foie gras, and I think that's going to be Saint Maximin's nickname until I start to see some activity.
It's funny. Just like as heavy as he is, he made Kevin Alvarez look really silly in a training session, which I know it's not hard to do these days. but no, I'm actually excited to see what he can do. What I'm wondering is we got some. I think someone mentioned it right now. Like there is an over reliance on the wings. Like who the hell's gonna play in the middle for America? Like is it Fidalgo?
Yeah.
Is it Chiquito Sanchez? But if those guys are doing the creative work up in the middle, who's doing the defensive work in the middle? So, the middle is one big question mark for me. We used to be so solid in the middle, and right now that's our biggest weakness.
Yeah, who was it that mentioned it earlier? I think Abdia said that, with Chivas, their biggest problem is the midfield. And I will speak for Pichichi. He for some reason has a lot of opinions, but never wants to hop on the podcast. But he always types in his shit talking like a keyboard warrior. But he says that Nene Beltran is dearly missed because he was like he was like the engine that could keep the play going and stuff. I don't know if that's true or not, but I will say that our midfield hasn't been adding that creative juices that we've had in previous seasons.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I don't watch too many Chivas games, but I know America, they rely on that old school number 10, even though old school number 10s are going extinct. Like, everybody wants to be a winger. There's nobody that wants to take on that responsibility of being the old school number 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot with coaching, like the 4-3-3 killing that. But I will say that I have to disagree with that Nene Beltran. You know who I think would be more crucial on this midfield? Also Gonzalez. I think I would get rid of
But also
Guti.
more of like a cleanup man, right?
Yeah, and that's what they're missing right now, man.
Well, ¿qué chingados está haciendo este Romo then?
Romo caminando el pinche Guti, igual que el Piojo haciéndose güey, no sé. But I think that's who would be more important. Nene, what are you gonna do with Nene? You're gonna put him in the midfield. He's gonna give you 20 side passes and 10 back passes and one shot. Like
So
Nene
let's look who Chivas had centrally. They had Aguirre, Romo as the libero, Castillo, Campillo, and then Guti, right? So that's like 5 big guys, right? Aguirre is pretty quick, Castillo's pretty quick, but Romo not so much, and Guti not so much. So like these are all like defensively minded people. There's not a lot of creative force, and there's only 2 midfielders, right? I know we got the guy like behind the striker was just Ledesma, but he was really just going out wide, starting in the middle, going out wide. So he did play more like a winger, wing back. So like I do feel like the Beltran comment is relevant because we used to have a midfield of 3, and that's what got us to the final against Tigres, a midfield of 3, and now we only have 2, and so we're not using the midfield like, and we are more predictable by going out wide, and so like I really do think Efrain Alvarez needs to start more, and we'll see like more creativeness flow from the middle.
No.
Yeah, I think Efrain needs a more freedom.
He needs to be our 10.
Yeah, he needs more freedom.
From what I remember back when I caught a few Chivas games here and there seasons past, Chivas' number one problem that I could remember was the striker. You guys had absolutely 0 goals. You could have a rock solid team, but nobody could score a goal to save your fucking life. And that's Chicharito, that's Saldivar, that was the Macias. I forgot how many more strikers you guys have had come and gone in Chivas that just could not score a goal to save your guys' lives. Is Pulido the solution? What's going on in there?
Yeah, Pulido's not the same guy that used to score goals for us. There's a reason why Casey was happy to sell him back to us, and I think his best games are behind him. We were just in a desperate situation to fill that role with some experience because our experiment with Chicharito just didn't pan out. And I think that that's why he was brought back in, but he hasn't been the same Pulido that, left. So I don't think he's the answer. I do think Hormiga is the answer. And Wilke kind of just got thrown to the side, unfortunately. I'm not sure what's going on with him.
Well, I don't know too much about Hormiga, but if I guess all you can be is hopeful if you're a Chiva fan.
Yeah, with Hormiga, I would say you can tell he's been watching Chicharito highlights because his moving into the right place, like marking himself off as defender, is top. Like that's what it reminds me of. Pulido, he had that ACL injury while he was at KC. One thing I will say about him, you never get the feeling that he's not trying. He's always hustling. Uh, as much as with his Ferrari and his blonde escorts and stuff, you never hear like off-field drama about him, like with Vega or anything like that. Like it gives me the vibe that he's professional. He's trying. It's just he's past that prime.
So onto Hormiga talk. That guy, we were complaining, howling night and day about how he wasn't given the start and how he should have been, like he should be our main guy. This match, he's given the start and he doesn't do jack shit with it. He squanders all his chances, and he basically fucked up this opportunity for him to really cement himself as like our number 9. And so
that's
like
drastic. He's young.
Yeah, I think
I know, but we just went on a rant. We just put on a video about how we need to hold these players to a higher standard.
Yeah, for sure.
This
Yeah,
guy,
but not the youth.
He's also
guy.
not getting much service. It's not like he like missed a sit or anything.
Well, someone was mentioning earlier about how Chiva fans are not as demanding as
Nah,
I disagree.
as a big club should be. Do you guys think America fans would tolerate such results on our end? Like
No.
the Querétaro win
Nah,
that we had 2
nah.
weeks ago, the whole stadium was booing a win at home.
You're blaming the wrong people. You don't need to blame the fans. You need to blame ownership. Your owner would not tolerate Chivas playing like this.
You guys right here, right now, are defending a player that is not performing.
I think
Bravo, senor. Say it louder for the people in the back.
I'm defending the statement that he said that he fucked up his chance. He's still a youth player. The players I would criticize would be like Guti. Guti's been at Chivas for 3-4 tournaments now, and he's ass. Piojo. He's been ass for 4 months. The stadium booed him. The stadium also told the players que chingan su madre. But I'm not gonna throw Efrain Alvarez, who just arrived, Hormiga, who's barely breaking through.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw him under the bus yet.
So I just want to say one thing. You know how I said all those stats: 11 shots, 69% of possession, 5 shots on target. Like the issue this night against Juarez was that we didn't have someone to define it, to put away those shots, the chances, right? And so like I do think Ant-Man had a bad game, and I think he should be criticized for that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him benched again, and people are gonna be like, "Whoa, why is he benched?" I was like, "Well, he didn't perform last game."
He did score a brace.
Rifado,
in Leagues
all
Cup.
of those stats and everything that you just mentioned. ¿Para qué, güey? ¿Para que te metieron la pipa 2 veces? No mames, güey. Y todavía perdieron. Now, while I hate to side with an Americanista, he has a point. Chivas fans have been complacent for at least the last fucking 4 to 5 years, defending a shit-sipping team. And if you want further proof, go back and listen to the past 200 episodes of this podcast. All right? It's y'all motherfuckers in here talking about no, esa es la buena, que quién sabe qué.
Nah, you're bullshitting right here.
No mames, güey. Now, hold on really quickly. The other thing that I want to say to Johnny is that que dijo, no, que la liga es muy chica para nosotros. Ok, güey, está bueno. Pero ¿qué pasa cuando te vas al internacional, carnal? You give the cheeks. All right? Now, you're over here looking at things with rose-colored glasses because, yeah, your 3-game winning streak, but now go internationally, go to all the other tournaments que no, que vamos a ganar, que quién sabe qué, les han estado metiendo la pipa, güey.
Internationally, we have the most trophies in North
Jenna
America.
James.
Internationally, we have the most trophies in North America.
And when was the last time you won one?
There's no competition that America plays in that they don't have the most trophies. No hay una sola que no tenga los mayores títulos.
Copa
y dime, güey, ¿cuándo fue la última vez que la ganaron?
Even Copa.
¿Cuándo fue la última vez que ganaron algo internacional? Que no se les olvide, de todos los que estamos aquí, nomás hay un pendejo que no ha llegado a la final de Libertadores.
Uf.
Bueno, that and Thomas's Pumas, but that's a charity case.
Pero eso que llegar a la final es perderla. Did you win the Libertadores?
Runner up.
I remember you guys brought in Cardoso for that shit, and you still lost it.
Wow, bro. Cope harder, right?
One thing I will say about America and Copa Libertadores, I mean, the stat is a little skewed because they play the most games out of all the Mexican clubs. But for that reason, they're also the Mexican team with the most points in Copa Libertadores. The second is Chivas, by the way. And that's why I hate the argument about the Mexicans being an excuse. I mean, we literally went to Copa Libertadores, played against all these South American teams, and then out of Mexican clubs, we're the second club with the most points against
So
South
so like
Americans.
I do say it's a crutch, but like not because playing with Mexicans is inherently like worse than not, but because of the situation Chivas is in, they can't buy the best Mexican players, and
Yeah,
and
that's the problem.
and the process of creating them your own it takes a long time and it's very volatile. You see them now. We had 7 jovenazos under the age of 23 in this game, and the team's not performing well. So like
And
like we want them to produce, but
even
this
when
is a
you do buy the best Mexican players, like when we bought Guli, and it's Guli had just had a phenomenal run with Leon. We bought Alexis Peña. Well, we did buy Alexis Peña. Alexis Vega. Like even when we do like actually buy what Joel used to call Big Macs, they don't pan out. The jersey's too heavy for them. They can't. It's just
bullshit too.
The locker room is a cancer.
Nah, you're full of shit too. All you guys are full of shit. The thing is, like you said, a Guli Vega, but you would buy one here and there. No, los tienes que comprar de putazo, like bring 3, 4 of them in. Not one guy to throw the whole team on his back. No one's gonna do that. Look at the French guy. The French guy is showing up right now to America, and they don't need him. Like they don't need him to be match fit ready. Like by this weekend, like come on, bro, we need you. Like we suck. Like come on.
I
No,
would counter that
everybody else
argument
can-
when we bought during COVID or that 2020 when we heavily invested. We got Calderon, we brought back Macias, we got like a bunch of other refuerzos, and it didn't pan out.
But none of them were like national team consistent call ups, except like for Antuna, who was barely getting started with Tata because he was coordinating them CONCACAF friendlies, and that's pretty much it. I can't think of anyone else.
In an alternative universe, would you Chivas fans be okay if Chivas said tomorrow, you know what, we're shutting the whole Mexicano only legacy thing? Would you guys be okay with it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then here's the other thing with that. Just not to shit on America because I don't know shit, right? But if you look at America's run or success in the last, however you want to call it, how much of their core has been like purely Mexican versus like extranjero?
They had that one title run where they had, what was it, Cordova, Lainez, Edson Alvarez, right? I mean, that was a good amount.
Don't forget, during the 2014 qualification for the World Cup, era América vestido de verde. So Mexico, America has contributed greatly.
But that was break glass in case of emergency status.
Yeah, contra New Zealand también, way. It was like
we had a.
But look at the players. It was like Layun and.
Yeah,
they were doing well, and then they brought up the coach who was doing well at the league level. I don't think that luckily America at that moment was doing well, but if Cruz Azul was the number 1 team at that point, they would have done the same with them.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? Honestly, like to the logical person, this whole Chivas legacy of Mexicans only is like starting a race, shooting yourself in the foot, and then complaining that you have to limp.
No, but no one's complaining about the Mexicans only. That's what you, America fans, and everybody else.
What are you talking? That's the first thing Chicharito said in an interview. No, es que nuestra grandeza estamos en otra carrera. Like that's literally complaint and excuse number 1 out of every Chiva fan.
I wouldn't say it's like a straight up handicap. It's like a double-edged sword. It has its benefits. It has its detractions. Like one of the benefits is that it wins the pueblo. Like there's so many Chivas fans outside of Guadalajara, and it's because it's el orgullo de Mexico. And so like that's one of the pluses to like upholding this tradition. One of the drawbacks is that when you're broke, you have hard time getting top-notch Mexican talent.
And that's all it is broke. Mauri's just broke.
But you know what? That whole orgullo del pueblo, that's I don't know. I think that's like espuma on a beer. It's eventually going to fizzle out because you cannot sustain orgullo without winning. Like if you're going to sustain something with orgullo, it has to come with victories because eventually even Tigres are going to have more fans than Chivas because they just win more.
Look,
no, that's not going to happen.
I could see a future where we become the Atletico Bilbao of Liga MX, where it's like, oh, that's cute. You're like a vintage, old school club. And it's gonna be like a hipster thing to be like a Chivas fan because it's like, oh yeah, you're a purist. Oh, okay. I could see that happening, 20, 30 years from now. And like, because I've seen it happen with Manchester United. Right now, there are more Man City jerseys I see in the wild than I see United. And now it's like the new gens, they're rooting for City. They're not even looking at Manchester as like a great club anymore.
Yeah, well, you're
I'd
looking at
agree.
hype beast. You're looking at guys in America that just ride the flavor of the month. I wouldn't.
But internationally too, man.
No, but even in Mexico, like, how long you think a young Chivas fan, like a 12-year-old Chivas fan, how long you think that kid's gonna stay a Chivas fan?
They're not, Johnny. You're right, and
I mean, do you
think
want that kind of fan though? I mean, it's like once you choose your team is set for life. Like, look at Tomas. Like, he knows Pumas.
That's why, but they're still choosing their team. They're in that process of choosing the team. So they'll eventually
7
go
to 12. Yeah, from 7 to 12, you're still choosing. You haven't chosen.
I will say though, we're not competing with other Liga MX teams. We're now competing with European teams. We're competing with like Inter Miami and shit. Like the new gens are not. They don't give a shit about Liga MX.
No, man, I think it's
in Mexico
take. I think it's a big Pocho take.
No, but I think that's why I think Chivas will eventually change the rules again. They've been slowly changing them. I was talking about how fans weren't accepting the Mexican nationalized Peruvian, but they were more than welcoming for an Argentine with Mexican, born in Argentina and Cowell, born in the U.S., playing for the U.S. And they're very open to that. Now, I feel that eventually they're going to allow naturalizados.
Well, that's the thing.
They lived in Mexico long enough, and they're nationalized Mexican, and I think they're gonna end up doing that. If you want to stay relevant and competitive, just because Mexico doesn't have the type of talent pool that in Argentina or Brazil has, where they're dependent, it's either that or cross your fingers and your toes that the pool of pochos here in the U.S. triples and it's churning out big talent. So other than that, if you want to compete with America, with Cruz Azul, Tigres, Monterrey, you're going to have to broaden that pool of players. And like Johnny said, eventually those other teams are going to catch up or surpass Chivas in titles. And it's like most of these kids, they're not going to be doing that 10-year wait.
Look at Tigres. They got Lainez, Marcelo Flores, Osiel Herrera, Córdoba.
Yeah.
They bought the 18-year-old Mexican goalkeeper from Querétaro. They got their guy coming up through their academy, something Sanchez. And they have all those good potential Mexicans because they have the money. If you have the money to bring those guys in, plus your Piojo and everything, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It's like Rifado said, the problem is the team is broke. One day you say that Liga MX, we're only behind the Brazilian league, and then the next day you say that the Mexican pool talent isn't there. You're telling me
because there's two different things, because the league is not dependent on local talent. They bring in talent from abroad. That's what makes
the youth that you do produce should be that good.
Not always.
I'm not saying you need to produce 1,000 good youth players, but if you only produce 50, that means those 50 are so good to play in the star-studded foreign league.
No, but not always. In England, Premier League was dominant for many years, and they didn't win anything at the youth level.
English,
but you're talking 30 years after,
it's called progress.
30 years after. Well, exactly, but I'm just giving you an example of one thing's not gonna equal another. They're separate. They started working at that, but just because the league was a certain way didn't mean that it was transitioning to the national team. And so kind of that's where Liga MX is. Their clubs are strong because there's owners with deep pockets that can build strong clubs.
And that's what Chivas is missing. I don't think it's a Mexican talent thing. It's a money thing.
I don't think they're broke. They're not at that level of what a Femex, a Televisa, a Cemex, a Cruz Azul is.
So
that's what you guys forget.
That Chivas deserve.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're broke.
Well, they're not at the level that Chivas deserves.
No,
they're broke for Chivas.
But then you have like a Santos.
Amaury should own a Santos. Amaury should own an Atlas.
Well, Santos and Pachuca were more, they've been in league at least more successful than Chivas, and that's, with less money. But the difference is they can bring talent from abroad, and that's where they, they're able to build their team faster. They're able to, like you said, not just bring one player and hope he can carry everything, but bring 2 or 3 really good players and then build a club around them. And that's what Chivas just doesn't have. And it's their process is slower. Like Riff was saying, they're playing all these youth and they're hoping to build that new team.
I don't know why we keep saying.
I
don't know why we keep saying we need to bring better players. We had a great pickup season. Like, we picked up Efrain Alvarez, national team player. Richie Ledesma, he's been playing great. He's already scored for the club. You had Cotorro Gonzalez from Pachuca. He's been a great, like, all the signings we have. Campillo, like, they're legitimate. It's not like we got like fucking like tomato cans. So it's like at a certain point you're just like, well, what the fuck is the issue, man? Is it the coach? Is it the players? But
I mean, compare those guys to like look who Tigres brought, like the Argentine international World Cup winner. So I mean, apples and oranges, man.
He got capped.
but see, that's the reality now. What happened?
I think this transfer window was good. I think that's why
it was
disappointing, because it feels like for the first time in a good amount of years, it's like, holy shit, we actually had a good transfer window. And then you had the preseason with all the positive results. It gave you a reason to be like, all right, we're going to be competing in the top 6. And now you have this, but I still don't think the team is playing like shit. I think it's a little bit of luck and a little bit of dumb mistakes.
But little perspective on those, as much as I like those guys, right now they will be like the Selección B. You need the starters, the key players, because Chivas has had where they had 3 or 4 Chivas starters were Selección starters. A lot of these guys that we have, they wouldn't start. Some of them wouldn't even be on the bench. And that's kind of like where I'm pointing at. While Tigres is bringing in a World Cup winner, and it's like,
but let's compare. That's orange to apples. Let's compare like when Tigres.
What's that apples? The direct rival.
Tigres brought in Marcelo Flores. Marcelo Flores was never a guaranteed starter.
But they didn't bring him.
America
they didn't bring him as their star player.
Sendejas wasn't a starter for either the U.S. or Mexico.
Yeah, but they didn't need Flores when they brought him. That's the thing. It's like you said it yourself earlier with America. They brought this striker, and like you're saying, they don't even need him to be match fit. They even sending him on a tour of Mexico, taste testing all the tacos because they're not reliable. They're relying on this guy to have a good success. A good season, like Johnny was saying. They're having the bad season, but if you look at, if we look at what's really going on, not really, most clubs will want to have that season. But I'm just saying, when Chivas brings players, they need them to perform like now. And some of these clubs bring, Tigres didn't need Flores, dude. They didn't need that guy.
Yeah, they're coming in to supplement the team, but not be like the main protagonist. And we're bringing in players to be our savior. I get it; it's different circumstances, but at the end of the day, not every player is built to perform and play for Chivas. And I think that's the biggest thing, because we've seen, I saw Canelo Angulo the other day just score a goal for Toluca, right? And it's like, bro, like this guy was cheeks for us. We had obviously Alexis Vega. we've had players that like are flourishing at other clubs. It's like, but for some reason it doesn't work out at Chivas. But let's leave it at that. We've been talking about it for almost an hour. We have other results around the league. I'll start with a couple and then we can break them down. Starting with Puebla and San Luis. They kicked things off on Friday, and San Luis got the better of Puebla. On that broadcast, they were talking about how they hadn't even purchased their flight to Seattle yet, and that the coach, they were unsure if the coach was going to continue. So they fired him, or I don't know if he resigned after the match, after that loss. And Puebla are going to go into Seattle without a coach. It's a tough matchup. Also on Friday, we had Necaxa play against León, and León got the better of them 1-0. We already talked about Chivas and Juárez. This one I missed out on, the Cruz Azul Santos Laguna match on Saturday. Abdias, I don't know if you're on, but am I seeing things, or did Charlie Rodriguez score a bicycle?
Charlie Rodriguez scored it, my dear good sir, and it was the opening one. El primer gol del pinche partido, güey, y Charlie. So I knew I was gonna be in for a good night. Although I will say this, right? Acevedo becomes the boogeyman when he plays against Chivas and against Cruz Azul. He started to regain his form.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, dude. Like he's like Joel said last week, he all of a sudden remembers how to play. And so watch out for Acevedo. It's still early, because he has been giving the cheeks for the past 2 tournaments. Pero cuidado con él, porque neta, güey, there was some plays where I was like, what the fuck, bro? How is he making these saves? Now, granted, something else that we should talk about is the fact that Cruz Azul hit the posts, all 3 of them, about 4 times.
Wow.
All right. So this game should have been closed out a lot earlier. There's this pass where I think it's Charlie who does it, feeds the ball to Bogus really fucking nicely. Bogus kind of does a small little lead pass, almost has Acevedo beat, la trata de bombear, and he fucking hits the side of the net. It's one of those where I was trying to be a good father. I was spending time with my kid because it was a relatively early game. And even my son is like, "Gol!" And I'm like, "No, mijo, es un pinche pendejo." I'm so fucking mad. But, he's still a child. He doesn't fully understand it. I'm like he had it open. It was all his. And he fucked it up. But you know what? The biggest thing here, the biggest takeaway of this match is that Nacho Rivero is always there for Cruz Azul. There was, I think he scored 2 goals, or one of them got disallowed. I know he at least got one. He fucking puts in the work. He lives the Cruz Azul life. I swear to God, when he leaves, they should retire his number. The 2 players that have given the biggest impact for Cruz Azul, at least for me, that I remember, that I've lived through it, and that I'm always going to take them in my heart, is Chaco Jimenez and Nacho Rivero.
Wow.
Damn, no love for Cata Dominguez?
Hey, I just
Fuck Cata.
I just wanted to talk about one thing about Cruz Azul that really caught my eye, and that's this guy, 20-year-old Carol Jaziel Velasquez. He started at center back with the number 193. He's 20 years old, and he was a starter today for Cruz Azul, or that day for Cruz Azul. And I thought that was really interesting. Can you tell me about him, Abdias, if you know anything about him?
I do not know anything about him. I do not like to fiddle and diddle with kids. So we'll see what happens. You can track him all you want. Keep me up to date. But yeah, dude, I didn't even know who the hell that was. It was just another fucking triple digit. I was like, who the hell is this kid?
Fair to say you're not on the Epstein list?
I am not. But I am going to dip my toes a little bit in the Ricky list and talk about the Chocolataos. Because Erdita, if anyone saw, this dude is wild, okay?
Who?
Like, Erdita, the center back, Dita.
Oh, okay.
For Cruz Azul, the darkest fucking player on the entire team. Like, this dude is like 90% cacao dark. All right? And over the week, he chose to fucking dye his hair blonde. But I'm not talking about just the top, bro. I'm talking about like the top, the goatee, I think the eyebrows too. And this man looks wild out there.
With some choco flan.
That's literally it, dude. I saw it. I was like, whoa. And my wife's like, what's going on? I was like, yo, look at this man on TV. Damn, bro. Las tetas de Ninel Conde, carnal. Si no están viendo la gala de la Casa de los Famosos, güey, se están perdiendo unos pinches melones más sabrosos que lo que hacen pick los wetbacks.
Real quick, I kind of want to take a step back. You mentioned Acevedo. Talk about taking advantage of a crisis in the goalkeeping position for Mexico, right? You had Malagon, you had Tala Rangel, who have made a lot of mistakes in Leagues Cup and were kind of criticized for their performance. Talk about a perfect time for another fighter to appear, right? And I think if Acevedo continues this good form, maybe Aguirre gets him a call. Who knows?
I don't know, man. Like, his stock has fallen way too low. He has eaten way too much shit, like, in the last couple years. But at the same time, so has Memo. Right? So maybe there's a chance, especially with the news that was just announced today about Mexico having a concentración en el CAR en Ciudad de México, basada con puros jugadores de México, jugadores que no están yendo a los cuartos de final de la Leagues Cup, and all of these like little parameters where he might be able to get in there. But for him to truly compete and fight for a spot, I don't think that's happening. I think his stock has fallen way too low. If anything, honestly, he's at the level of Jurado, Sebastián Jurado. Like, young, promising star. Everybody was all about them. Everyone thought that they were going to be great. You know, they had those standout seasons roughly at about the same time. And then all of a sudden, they fucking crashed. And they kept eating shit, and it kept getting worse. And it was just a really bad thing for them. And this is where they are. If anything, honestly, what Acevedo needs to do, Acevedo needs to get out of Santos and go to a team that actually has a defense. Go somewhere where they're willing to protect him. Because honestly, bro, Cruz Azul les estaba apedreando el pinche rancho left and right. So he can only do so much.
I disagree. In order for him to stay on point, he needs shitty defense. I mean, that's what happened to Ochoa when he was in League One, right? He was thrown out to the Wolves every single match, and it made him better. It made his reflexes better, and he had an incredible clean sheet against PSG, right?
Yeah, but he still relegated that club.
It's not his fault.
All right. Go on your fucking apology tour.
No, I mean,
you know what?
There's only so much a goalie can do, bro. If your team's ass, like, the fuck, blame it on the goalie? Like, no, blame it on the fucking inability to score goals.
No, I think Monterrey should buy Acevedo. They need a goalie. I think there are a guy Andradas on the way out. I don't know anything about their backup situation, but I think that would be perfect, right there. If he can be that guy in Monterrey, he can fight for a spot on the national team.
For sure. Let me go over a couple more results in Liga MX. Again, we talked about the Cruz Azul Santos match. Cruz Azul in third place with that victory. America Tigres. I don't know. I think Johnny Rico just left, but that was a match that a lot of people were anticipating. I don't know if everyone expected Tigres to just bend over for America, but 3-1 was the final score.
Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch it, but I have heard that the best action the entire match didn't happen in the pitch. It happened in the stands.
Oh, yeah?
Which is something that everybody can predict. Porque los putazos en Monterrey, güey, entre la afición, siempre están buenos y siempre dan mejor show que el equipo local.
Yeah, there's something in the water over there in
It was a Tigre on Tigre action, no?
Yes, it was. Putazos all around.
Yeah, man, that team, their stadium sucks ass. Like, I keep hearing rumors about them getting a new stadium, and maybe that's why. You know, you got a shitty stadium. Their VIP boxes look like the ghetto strip club VIP.
I think it's the inbred culture. It does something to the Abdullah.
That's what I'm saying. You need to
Nah. You know what? I'm gonna fight you on that one.
Get them out of there, man. You gotta price them out. Get them a new stadium with nice seats where you triple the price to be a season ticket holder.
So is Tigres also one of these faux universities, or that poses as a university, but really is just a big ass conglomerate, the CEMEX or something like that?
It's different. So the best way to think about it is, you know how Pumas has los patronatos, el patronato, ¿verdad? Well, that's what CEMEX is to their sporting division, right? La Universidad Autónoma, con madre, güey. Sigue funcionando igual como la UNAM, ¿verdad? La Universidad Autónoma. They do all of those things. But I guess in English you can call it the boosters, is CEMEX.
Yeah, there's nothing scholarly about the Pumas brethren that I met, but it is interesting to see that relationship.
No, it's a good university, man. I have a couple uncles who are professors there.
¿En el UNAM o Tigres?
Tigres.
Okay.
UNAL, or la UANO, como yo le digo. Now, Rifado, hold on. Because I got smoke for you too, bro. Talking about the whole inbred culture and this and that. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Si no le has metido un dedo a tu prima, you're not a real Mexican.
Oh, my God.
It's only one?
Pues depende si se deja, güey, pero preferible por lo menos 3.
Must be some norteño shit.
Yeah. I think the biggest surprise this weekend was Pachuca, right? Had a perfect run, held to a 0-2 loss. And of course, the wonderkin Gil Mora scoring, and shockingly scoring with his head. Tijuana upset Pachuca on the road.
So wasn't last week Rifado and Joel saying that we need to start apologizing to Jimmy? Is that still the same tune?
They're still at the top of the league. You know, and what's interesting to me about the way they came out, their midfield was Montiel, Bautista, and Guzman, which I thought was crazy attack-minded. And then El Loco countered that by not playing a striker. Gil Mora and Kevin Castaneda were two midfielders who started as strikers. So I thought that was really interesting, and it worked out for them. You know, they're an interesting side. I applied to check them out this Friday against Chivas. Hopefully they approve me. Yeah, hopefully I get to go this Friday to see Cholos versus Chivas.
Hell yeah, man. Room for you. Hopefully you get in. That'd be awesome. I didn't know that they're going to play on Friday. Fuck, man. I should have planned it. I've always wanted to watch a Chivas game in Tijuana. Seems like a cool vibe.
Yeah, this will be the biggest one that I get the green light. And so I won't say his name, but the guy, my connect there, he did like and ask if I emailed him as well. Like I WhatsApped him and then I emailed him. and he asked. He replied to me on WhatsApp, asking if I also emailed him. So I think my chances are good.
There you go.
Yeah, he hasn't confirmed yet, but we'll see. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
All right, now really quickly, since we're talking about Gil Mora and this and that, did you see the goal that he scored?
Yeah, it was a header.
Yeah, but it's fucking sloppy, dude.
He headed it
it's
down.
Not a good header. Like, it se ve uno de esos, güey, de que fue de panzazo. Right? He closed his eyes and he just moved his head and he fucking hoped. It matters, güey. Aquí se la estás mamando y todo eso.
Come on, man.
Pero no mames, güey.
They all count the same. You know how many fucking shitty goals Chicharito scored? Ugly ass goals. Who gives a shit? He fucking scored them.
And now how is he?
Yeah, we're talking about a 16-year-old man. We're not talking about Chicharito now. We're talking about the one he fucking scored off his face, man. Come on, dude. That shit was ugly as hell.
Wasn't that his first Manchester United goal?
Yeah.
You have to put some context to it. Look, the things that he does with his feet and the shots that he's put on, fucking great. All right? And I'll give him his flowers for that. But for this one, no mames, güey.
He still had to make the run. So he had to have, the foresight to make the run. He did follow through, and it worked out for him.
Hey, he did what coaches tell you to do, and that's head the ball down. And he literally did that.
And not just that, but another thing that coaches always tell you, and that's just see the play through. Don't stop until the ref, blasts the whistle. And that's exactly what Mora did. Of course, he probably surprised himself by making that goal. And then there was another kid who scored, this guy named Arciga, 20-year-old right winger, basically the replacement for Efrain. He also scored. So it was a good day for the Jovenazos at Xolos. I think they had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Jovenazos play for them that game. So let's see if El Loco Abreu can keep it up against Chivas, or will Chivas finally, end their losing streak against Xolos this Friday. It'll be interesting for Chivas because they're going to play in an artificial turf, and we'll see how they adapt to that.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Chivas. We had Toluca and Pumas. Enjoyed this match, courtesy of my backyard. Had the projector set up, had a cigar, just enjoying my Saturday night. And Rubalcaba, I know that's someone you've been tooting for quite some time, Rifado. Got the opening goal for Pumas.
Yeah, and that was a good goal. I said, the Pochos are rising up, right? Pochos rise up. I said something like that. And he's proven me right every week. For those of you who are just tuning in, Rubalcaba is a left winger / striker for Pumas, and he scored over the weekend against the champions Toluca. And I'm especially fond of him because he is a product of the Cal system in California, the Cal State system. He was a player for Cal State San Bernardino. And yeah, man, he's quality. Pumas is unconvincing, but they did a good job against the reigning champs.
I really thought that Toluca was going to take advantage of, playing La Bombonera, playing on a Saturday night, and have that come from behind victory. Canelo Angulo tied things up in the 67th minute, and it just felt like the momentum was going towards Toluca, but it stayed a 1-1 draw, and I think if you're a Pumas fan, you're taking a deep breath and saying that was a favorable result from, playing on the road against the champs. And with that, Toluca remain in 5th place with 10 points. Pumas are in 13th with 5.
Now, the Pumas goal, that was a really nice fucking goal. And one of the things that I never thought I would have seen, Pumas going into a hostile environment and going up. And they held on to that lead for most of the match.
Yep.
It was fucking impressive, dude. I legitimately didn't think that I would see that this weekend, especially going up against Toluca. I was impressed. And I actually even thought of Tom. I was like, holy shit, man. We've been talking all this shit about Pumas. We've been saying all of these things. And for once, they're actually fucking performing. But of course, it is Puma, so they had to give the cheeks at the end and only leave with 1 point.
I do think Pumas lucked out. If we look at the stats, 23 shots for Toluca to 6 for Pumas, 72 possession for 28 Pumas. Like Toluca was lucky not to win this one. Was lucky not to win it. Is what I meant to say. Toluca, great side. I do think they are probably the favorites to win it again if Turco can maintain the chemistry that he showed us last tournament. And there's a guy that I want to shout out. His name is Everardo Lopez del Villar. Where the hell is he? And what's it called? He's the center back, and he started every one of these games of this season. I think he's only 20 years old. And, we all know Turco doesn't play kids, but he believes in this guy and at center back, which is interesting to me because, that's a position for a more mature guy. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a call up for this guy. He's on the best team, I think, in Mexico, and he's starting day in, day out. He's a young Mexican, and I think he's someone we need to watch out for.
Yeah, good for him. I did not see the Atlas Querétaro game. Obviously, there's some bad blood there between those two clubs and their fans. But it looked like a banger. 3-3 was the final score. Pablo Barrera still playing. That's incredible.
At Querétaro, right?
Yeah, he scored yesterday.
Yeah, and wild that he's still active. And like you said, scoring. I didn't catch that Querétaro game, but I caught a previous one where I saw him. I was like, holy fuck, dude. Yeah. He's still out there doing it.
And he's been there for like a while.
Yeah, it's like that Guti Peña story, right? Like, yo, I'm going to play till the wheels fall off. Like,
he's been there since 2021.
Yes, güey, de que de vergüenza es otra cosa, which he's not doing it yet. Like, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. 38 years old. I also did not catch the final match this weekend, Rayados.
So one thing about the Atlas versus Querétaro game, I just wanted to touch on it.
Yeah.
So Pineda was let go, right? Or he resigned, right? And then Atlas bounces back and they actually tie a match 3-3. They start scoring goals. They haven't been scoring shit. They I thought they were gonna win this one. I saw some of this game. I didn't watch all of it. But one interesting thing is that I've been touting this 6'1" or 6'2" young kid named Victor Rios for Atlas for a long time. You can play him out on the left wing. You can play him center back. I mean, you can also play him center mid like he played today. So, like, I think he was starting at center back under Pineda, and then he's gone, and then boom, they move him back to a more attacking position. The team looks better. I feel like le tendieron la cama a my boy Pineda. I think they chased him out because the team looks confident and was lucky not to win this one. And so I think they're better without him. Unfortunate for the Mexican.
Well, Tigo Coca, the shot of adrenaline to get this going. Things are looking promising for Atlas. Monterrey beats Mazatlán yesterday 3-2. Lucas Ocampos scored a brace. And that was Jornada 5. I wanted to backtrack. I've heard reports about a death in the Puebla game. Is that true?
This time around or last time that the two of them met?
No. Sorry. Puebla Atlético San Luis. They said that there was like somebody passed away.
Yeah, apparently some lady got shot within like a block of it, but the government came out and said it wasn't like game related. But it's still pretty concerning that within the block of a stadium, someone's getting shot.
Yeah, so it's reported that a woman died following a brawl outside of Estadio Cuauhtémoc before the Liga MX match. So it was before the match.
we've talked about this before, man. Like, going to the stadium is no longer a family event. It's no longer somewhere that you can feel safe. If whether it's in the U.S. or whether it's in Mexico. In the U.S., you get shivved up in the stands. In Mexico, you get shot in the parking lot. Like, these are the things that happen. Soccer culture in Latin America, for a better term, has been radicalized. All right, these barra bravas, these certain teams that have adopted the ideology of tailgating, right? Or just good old fucking day drinking. And it gets out of hand because the problem with Mexico is que todos se creen bien picudos.
Yeah, and I was under the impression that Puebla was one of the more safer places in Mexico. So probably won't.
I mean, never underestimate mob mentality.
It is concerning to see violence like that when we're 300 plus days away from hosting a World Cup. Granted, it was in Puebla. It's not in one of the cities that's going to be hosting matches. But I'm sure if some shit happens in Nuevo León or, in Zapopan or in La Ciudad de Mexico, I'm sure there'll be some concerns raised from FIFA.
I mean, did you not
shit
see?
Happens there all the time, though. You'll see, like, people getting shot, like...
Where?
In Guadalajara and stuff. It'll be, like, narco-related.
Oh,
you don't remember that one girl at the barbershop?
No.
The one girl that they walked into her salon and shot her in the head?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
That was in Zapopan, I believe. You just don't hear about that because it's not near the stadiums.
I still remember her. She was a baddie. God bless her soul. Now, with that being said, did you not see the videos of what happened outside of the stadium in Universitario, El Volcán? Like, there was putazos again.
Oh, yeah, that America fan got kicked in the head, instant knockout.
Yeah, like, the shit popped off. Like, this is just Mexico in its norm.
Honestly,
all right?
I've been to a few Cholos games and I felt like absolutely safe AF, man. Super
really?
Safe. Yeah, man. And we're talking about Nuevo Babylon, dude. We're talking about, the fucking mouth of the frontera or the butthole of it.
I'm about to say. Surprise.
No mames, güey. You don't remember the video of Tony getting shot in the fucking parking lot?
Tony.
No, I don't. I don't. But my only complaint is that one of my cab drivers charged me more.
He heard your accent, bro.
He heard the Pocho accent. He's like, "Yep, I can charge him. He's got the money."
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. He heard dollars. It's like, oh, solo tengo dólares, and then he was like, oh, all right, don't mind if I do.
Güey, mira, here's the tip. Les Univision, more Televisa.
Yeah. I gotta work on mi acento, but yeah, man, I'm surprised to hear, violence. I was apprehensive, man. You hear all these stories about Mexico and TJ, but I went and I have to tell you, man, I've only felt safe there. So I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of run down some parts, but
Yeah, but building on what Abdias was saying, something that I will say about the Monterrey Tigres fan base, they tell you they're the most loyal, they got all this money, but their fans are fucking violent and ghetto. Like, you remember Liguilla when they got knocked out by Pachuca? They were interviewing some Pachuca guy, same thing, came out and hit him from the back of the head. With America, they fought each other multiple times, same between each other. Like that, I feel like Tigres and Puma Stadium, like, you kind of got to think twice about showing up with an away jersey.
Nuevo León's so interesting because on one hand you have such rich and like prosperous industry, and then the other you have like the whole narco frontera shit, and that shit like mixes and clashes, and then we get glimpses of it in the game, like what you're talking about, where like these thugs come out. It's unfortunate, and I do remember that incident, and yeah, like Monterrey, especially Rayados fans, like a lot of their fans are just known for being pieces of shit.
I mean, there's a reason why the name for the fans of Rayados es La Pandilla.
Well, moving along right now, Edson Alvarez is kind of homeless. He's not in the plans at West Ham. And the rumors over the weekend, it started with Ajax. They were trying to buy him back or maybe loan him back. A little bit complicated there, but some rumor that's been picking up steam is Fenerbahce, and that is where Jose Mourinho is coaching. When I first heard about the rumor of him going to Turkey, I'm like, I don't know. Dutch league is a little bit better, I think. But then I found out it'd be really cool for him to be coached by Jose Mourinho. I don't think Jose Mourinho has had the pleasure of coaching any Mexican player. So I would love to see that.
We were just talking about bandias, right? And the fanaticism in soccer in Turkey is a whole nother level, bro. You want to talk about like fanatic fans, Turkey, they go hard over there, man. And
Yeah.
he's going to be in the heart of it all in Istanbul if they sign him, which, some of our Roman aficionados will know as Constantinople. But it is Europe. It's still Europe. He'll still have Champions League, or European football. I forget if they're champions or Europa. It's a good league. It's in Europe, and if he's going to have playtime, then it's wonderful. I think the biggest issue with West Ham is that he's going to be a bit part player, and he's like, I have a World Cup coming up.
Yeah.
I need more minutes. I need consistent minutes. And Ajax is like, oh hell yeah, let's do it. But the money's probably not right. And now Fenerbahce is like, I'll promise you everything you want. And so I think it's a healthy move for him. Like I want to see it because I do think he needs to leave West Ham.
He wouldn't be the first Mexican to grace the country of Turkey. Back in the day, we had Gio dos Santos play at Galatasaray. I can't speak to his time there. I don't know if he did anything out there, but I know that we have had Mexicans in Turkey before.
Did Nigris, the one that passed away, play there?
Maybe.
I feel like he probably play there. On the Edson thing, I'm not a fan, man. To me, the Turkish league is like corrupt. It's like a bunch of cooties from Veracruz running around owning clubs. Mourinho, when he showed up, he said if he knew what he knew about the league before he signed, that he would have never signed, that his club lied to him. And then after the season was over, a bunch of people from the Turkish FA got fired because messages were leaked of them and the reps planning against Mourinho, like on his downfall. So a lot of people got fired for that. And for that, it makes me think that even if he goes there for the whole Mourinho thing, I don't think Mourinho lasts. So I would hate to go to Turkey, deal with all this bullshit, and then the guy I wanted to play under leaves in 3 months. Like I would
That's
feel
true.
bamboozled.
I'm glad you bring that up, Habibi, because we've seen this happen time and time again. You have a coach who wants you, convinces you to join the club. Then a month or two goes by, he gets canned, and then you're like, am I still in the plans? Like, I just left because of you. What the fuck? Happen time and time again with Mexican players. So I will say that at this point, again, with a year to go before the World Cup, Edson Alvarez being our captain, yes, playing time is of the essence, and I'll take anything at this point.
Yeah, and I had uploaded a clip from some podcast from West Ham fans, and they were in disbelief that they were trying to get rid of him because apparently they don't have much depth in the center back or midfield role. And they were talking about how he had a good Gold Cup. He scored a goal in the final. He can play as a center back. He can clean up the shit in the midfield. So I'm kind of surprised they don't want him either. And I'm kind of surprised that he's Mexico's captain and he can't land a better deal outside of Turkey. Like, you have Johan Vasquez doing really well in Serie A. He's the captain of the team. You think with a guy that partners alongside him in Montes that he'd be able to get, middle of the table or lower team in the Calcio. So I
I,
just find it
I think it's
shocking.
an issue with money. Turkish teams are pretty. Some of them are pretty well off, and then there's the prospect of European football and consistent play time in a league that is in Europe still not one of the best ones, but I'd say not far. Like I'd say it's just as good as the Dutch league, and maybe a little less so than the Portuguese league. Like I think this is a great league, and if it promises him consistent play time, good money, and European football, then it's a no-brainer. Go to it instead of being a bit part player for a West Ham team that doesn't believe in you. So like I think it's a great move.
Well, maybe I'm just a hater because me, Turkey, Ukraine, Russia, it all sounds the same as far as like league wise.
It is a majority Muslim country, but I'd say it's known as one of the most liberal Muslim countries in the world, and also very diverse. So I think people kind of get spooked by that a little bit, but it's just Eastern Europe, or the easternmost part of Europe.
I think it would be a great experience for him. The ambiance, the fans, just like the passion they have. Imagine having to play in that kind of pressure week in and week out, and then you go back to Mexico for the World Cup, and you're like, oh, I can deal with this shit. But a return to Ajax wouldn't be that bad either.
Yeah, that's probably the best move for him as far as like play style, familiarity. It's just like come back home kind of thing. And I think he'd fit right in, but maybe the money's not right with Ajax, and that's why we're hearing strong rumors. Because I saw one from Fabrizio Romano, and that's like tier 1, right? So I think it's pretty close for Nebache.
I think the problem is nobody can like afford to just buy him, so it's like a loan situation. And I'm sure West Ham is not. They just want to get their money back, or at least recover some of that money. But I'm surprised that no one else in the EPL is sniffed at Edson. I know he was very close to joining Chelsea at one point when his stock was a little bit higher. Well, guys, we have Leagues Cup action on Wednesday. I'm actually surprised that they're playing all 4 matches on the same day. Why? Why do that? Why not spread them out Wednesday and Thursday? Whatever the case may be, we have Inter Miami and Tigres playing on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Toluca Orlando at 6 p.m. Seattle Sounders Puebla at 8 p.m. and LA Galaxy versus Pachuca at 8:45 p.m. West Coast, Best Coast. So, looking into Leagues Cup and putting Liga MX on pause a little bit, who's coming out of these matches, guys?
Well, looking at it, I think Inter Miami Tigres. I think Tigres comes out on top. I think overall squad quality, they're better, and I think Messi's still recovering from injury. So, but they do have DePaul, their new star signing, great midfielder. I know he's hated here and in some parts of Mexico. And then I think Toluca is going to beat Orlando City. And then I think Puebla is going to lose to Seattle Sounders. And I think Pachuca is going to beat Galaxy. I think it's going to be 3-1
for Liga MX
against MLS.
I like it. I like the predictions. Anybody else?
I just want to say that Messi is back. He actually scored against his last MLS game versus Galaxy. I think, since Miami's at home, it favors them more. That Tigres' confidence might be down after losing at home to an America, quote unquote, in crisis. But I do expect a high scoring game. I would say that game easily goes over 2.5 goals. I think Toluca wins. I think Puebla, they in the Liga, they look cooked. They might try to make the best out of Leagues Cup and get that new coach bounce. And then the other one is who's the other game? I don't remember.
Galaxy Pachuca.
Yeah, I expect Pachuca to win that one. So I'll go undecided Miami Tigres. I will go Toluca, Pachuca, and Puebla to take it to penalties.
You know, it was funny. The Toluca Orlando game, they were trying to find like a neutral site. And I think for Orlando, like LA's too far. And they were trying to have a shorter flight, maybe in Houston. And then Toluca said, well, why don't you just play us in Toluca? It's closer.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close it was. It was like a 3-hour and 50-minute flight. I couldn't believe that when I read it.
And then they chose to shut the fuck up about it. They're like, no, we'll go to LA. Not a problem.
Oh my God. You want to go where? No, thank you.
Ugh, we have to play in altitude? How could we?
Toluca? Is that like a Chipotle special?
Is that spicy thing that y'all put on fruit?
Yeah. Diaz, what are your thoughts on these League Cup quarterfinals?
Honestly, man, I think like it was said, I think honestly the match to watch is gonna be that Miami versus Tigres. High action, high entertainment. I think Tigres comes out. I also think Toluca pulls through, right? They put on a hell of a tournament. They've been on a pretty good run until this last time that God knows why fucking Pumas put in some hands in there and was able to get a couple licks in. And the other two, honestly, man, it's a fucking toss-up, right? Pachuca just got this shit pushed in. Puebla, I haven't been paying attention to Puebla. So I might be sleeping on game. I'm not sure, but those two, you know what, man? Let them through. Let's have a little bit of competition. Let's not just have it all be one-sided. Right? We got to let this thing this competition simmer for a little bit and let it become something interesting. Because if it's just a runaway train with nothing but Mexican teams, it's La Conca all over again.
Okay. Yeah, I think for Leagues Cup, right? It's been MLS's tournament, whereas Conca Champions has been our tournament. I think it's time for us to break that chain. That being said, I think people are underestimating Orlando. That's why they've gone to the Final Four. I don't think Toluca has an easy match there, especially after seeing what Pumas were able to do and neutralize Toluca. And they have to travel, so I don't think it's going to be that easy of a game as most people think.
So Orlando lost to Pumas, just so you know.
Yeah, for sure. As far as Inter, you gotta give them the benefit of the doubt with Messi, with refereeing. I think that Inter Tigres is definitely the match to watch, but I would not be surprised if they tough out a draw and then they go to a PK shootout and win that way. As far as the other matches, like Seattle, they're gonna take over Puebla. There's no Puebla doesn't have a chance. Pachuca and I think it's gonna be two MLS teams and two Liga MX teams going through.
Now, here's the key question: are they on the same side of the bracket or are they on the opposite sides?
Who and who?
Seattle and Toluca versus the other guys. Like, how do the brackets break up?
Yeah, so the winner of Seattle Puebla plays the winner of Pachuca LA.
Okay. All right, perfect. So
and Toluca Orlando, winner of that plays Miami Tigres.
See, man, so you gotta be feeling for Puebla. They lose 7-0 to Tigres. They gotta fly out to Seattle. And who do they face? The team that beat Cruz Azul
7-0.
Yeah, I mean, that just gives you PTSD right there off the bat.
Either that or it gives you motivation to get in there and not take a fist fucking again.
I'm reminded of that meme of the Chihuahua with the flashbacks of Vietnam. You guys ever seen that meme?
Oh, yeah. That's a classic.
That's Puebla right now.
Yeah. So let's say Seattle and Pachuca go through. That'd be a pretty mouth-watering semifinal. And then on the other side, let's say Toluca gets past Orlando. Let's say Tigres lose to PKs in Miami. Then you got a pretty good matchup there too. So we have some midweek games. Should be interesting. Want to give you guys the opportunity to have your closing thoughts. We're at that point of the time of the podcast. Who wants to go first?
You know what? I'll go first this time. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk about football or soccer or whatever you want to call it, because there has been so much prime entertainment this entire weekend that while I've watched games here and there, that hasn't been the most entertaining thing. Did anybody catch fucking Triple Mania this weekend?
Yeah, I keep my Twitter feed went crazy. I did not know what the fuck was going on, but there was like fights and shit. Like, what was going on?
Oh, bro, that's a whole nother one. Hold on. Triple Mania is Mexican wrestling, Triple A. In their opening fight, bro, they had a trans, a fat white guy, a pinche micro man, a wrestler who's only 3.5 feet tall, and they had this fucking giant black dude fight in a battle royale type of shit. Beautiful. There was an on-air kiss between Pimpinela Escarlata and some other dude. It got fucking wild, all right? Y si no sabes qué es lucha libre, güey, you guys are missing out. Let me tell you how good this shit was, all right? I was watching the Cruz Azul match, and luckily it was Albert let us know that show was being aired free live on YouTube. So I'm watching the match. I have my phone on, and my son comes over to me and he starts watching. He's like, "Daddy, what is that? Oh my God, look, there's a baby." And we just start watching it. And now my kid's is a fucking fan of Lucha Libre. Like, we've been watching it over the last couple of days, and me trata de partir la madre. He's jumping off the couch on me. Like, beautiful things happened. And it's all because of Triple Mania. Then, the following night, on fucking Sunday night, right, they have Supernova Strikers, which is, man, I don't even want to call it amateur boxing. It's showcase boxing. It's a bunch of Latin American YouTubers, Mexican artists. There was Franco Escamilla going up against El Escorpión Dorado. There was Gala Montes going up against what's her name? La Nalgona, way. Alana Flores. There was West Coast going up against some other guy. Y neta, güey, los putazos estaban buenos. Like, they had Fighterson narrating alongside the guys from La Cotorrisa. And the dudes from the Cotorrisa made the best analogy, right? They said, look, in professional box, everyone only watches the highlights. Like, you don't watch the whole thing. You kind of like, miss here, this and that.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, espérate, wait. Pero like, you don't pay attention to the whole thing, right? Like, you go grab a couple beers, you go do this, you go do some bullshit. That happens. Pero cuando es una pelea entre el taxista y el microbusero, you're there for all of it, bro. You don't look away. Like, you're just in it. And that's literally what happened. It was so fucking entertaining to the point to where they had a Dr. Simi doing a fucking DJ. All right? If you can't wrap your mind around
that's funny.
You're missing out. And then another beautiful moment was at any time that they had Al Sicario up on the Jumbotron, the whole fucking stadium del Palacio de los Deportes booed him like no other, to the point to where they had to stop doing close-ups of Fighterson, and the only way that they could show him was on a wide shot where they showed the other guys. Because if it was like a tight shot on him, he was getting booed. And it was loud as fuck. It was beautiful. There was so much entertainment in Mexico happening. It was great. And then if you just want to put that little cherry on top, Ninel Siliconde got eliminated from La Casa de los Famosos. Pinche, the Mexican Labubu de Abelito is still tearing it up. Like, neta, güey, beautiful. I watched soccer. It was great and everything, but the true entertainment was outside of football.
Wait, really quick, since what's that whole thing with Franco Escamilla boxing some wrestler? Or was it just some
El Escorpión Dorado. They boxed, bro. It was entertainment.
Yeah, but why were they throwing hands? Like,
because El Escorpión Dorado is a comedian somewhat, y le había estado echando verga, especially with his daughter over the quinceañera.
I remember
Franco
that.
Was like, no, carnal. So they've had a whole year. These fights have been scheduled for a whole year. They've been training. They've been doing all of these things. I think Franco's dad was a boxer. Back in the day.
That's why he was crying.
That's why he was crying. That's why when he won, dude, I didn't understand it because when he won, he fucking like cried, dude, and then looked up at the sky and like said all these things. And I was like, what? And it wasn't until this morning where I saw a supercut where they did of him talking about his childhood and the relationship with his father, where he once had to tell him, like, do you understand how hard, because his dad was like big time boxer, right? And he said, do you understand how hard and difficult it is to be your son, to constantly disappoint you and not be enough or be able to measure up to what you are and who you were. And then they cut it with him winning the fight and crying and pointing at the sky. Wait, I almost cried. It was it was fucking beautiful.
Just really quick reference for those that don't know, Escamilla, at one point he was like the biggest comedian in Mexico. He blew up, said a lot of Netflix specials, but he was like one of the more popular comedians. And he had made a joke about this like overweight girl, something about XXX. I forgot what the joke was. Because I think, was it like her 15 años? I think in the invitation, and he said something along the lines it should be like XXL or something. I don't know, it's kind of funny. Fucked up, but funny.
Yeah, because it's not XV. It should be her XXV.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's fucked up.
Yeah. And so he made that joke, but the internet, bro, the internet doesn't forget. The North remembers. So then flash forward a few years later, his daughter turns 15. He posts pictures of the quinceañera, and she's overweight, and so
you started giving him shit.
Dude, match.
Oh, bro, they tore her up.
Yeah, I was fucked up.
Faitelson on there?
Huh?
No, yes, Faitelson was there.
Yeah,
Faitelson was on the panel. He was a commentator.
I saw a tweet because remember when Faitelson was complaining about some show? He was saying like my daughters would not watch this. What show was he complaining about?
Oh, he was talking about the show that El Doctor Garcia and Martinelli were doing during La Copa Oro.
Yeah, when he said my daughters wouldn't watch that, so somebody tweeted,
Les da vergüenza.
Yeah, but your daughters would watch this shit then? So, total fucking hypocrite.
Oh, I can't stand David. Yeah.
Televisa, man, is just fucking dragging them. Like, just, using them like some cheap whore, I think.
And like the dudes from the Cotorrisa kept giving them shit. And it's like, well, it's obvious that as long as they pay you enough money, you'll do anything. Ooh. Would you be willing to fight Cuauhtemoc Blanco or maybe even Marc Rosas?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
One of the guys from the Cotorrisa was on air and he had a Canelo Alvarez shirt on. And if y'all know, David Faitelson and Canelo have like
he's been
beef, dude.
He's always talked to him. He's never given him his flowers. Yeah.
To where, like, I'm pretty sure if Canelo bumps into him on the street, Canelo's gonna fuck him up.
Yeah. Didn't he ban him from his he banned him right from his events?
Yeah.
From his media.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, bro. If they bump into each other on the streets, I'm like 75% sure it's on site.
For sure, guys. My phone's at 3%, so we gotta wrap.
Bueno, that was my closing thought. Sorry to give you all the fucking Mexican culture update as to what's happening in the motherland.
Thank
Los
you, Abdias.
veo después.
Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go with Chivas. No, go ahead. I'll say that I think we lose to Tijuana because we never historically done well there, especially during good form. But I feel pretty optimistic about Cruz Azul. We play them at home. Same thing with Tigres. Same thing with Toluca. I mean, everyone's saying like, this schedule's going to be cheeks, but we play at home. We have the international break, to help us catch up and stuff. And then outside of that, like I said in the beginning, Milito, I would trust him all the way. I'm not worried about it. So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens indeed. Thanks, Habibi, for joining us. Rifal, you want to go?
Yes, sir. So I'll just make mine quick. Thanks for having me, everyone. So today, the rundown for the Jovenazos to play in this last match week was 48 out of 378 available players. So 13%, a little bit less than the previous Jornada, which was at 16%. So not good, but not awful. And then I just wanted to shout out some of the guys that did well. Luis Rey, he lost again, but homeboy is playing CDM for Puebla, and I thought he was a big part of them advancing in Leagues Cup. So I think this guy, in spite of his team being butt cheeks, he's good, and we need him back. We need a good center back, and it was a mistake to loan him out because this guy's good. Let's see, Dagoberto. Dagoberto, the right back for Club America, 21 years old. He's eating Kevin Alvarez's lunch. Israel Reyes, he's lost that right back spot to him as well. Dagoberto looks to be like the choice at right back for Club America. He's a good player. 3 matches, pretty good. I already mentioned the Cruz Azul kid who debuted at the center back, right? But I didn't talk too much about his name. His name is Carol Jaziel. So it sounds like this, like a girl. Like this guy has 2 girl names, and so Carol Velasquez at Cruz Azul. Watch out for that guy. He's good. Who else we got? Denzel Garcia had a great game against Chivas for Juarez. He's a right back, can also play center midfielder. Great player. Interesting name, Denzel Garcia. Juarez, a phenomenal player. I think he deserves a move somewhere else. Let's see. I already talked about Del Villar, good center back for Toluca. And then Cholos, I already talked about Arciga and Mora. Both of them had really good games. And yeah, that's my rundown. 13%. Thanks for having me, everyone. Have a great one. And hopefully I'll come out with a article on Cholos and Chivas by the end of this week. So watch out for that at Foodmax Nation. And yeah, thanks for having me, everyone.
Did you mention Sandoval from Chivas scored a goal against Juarez?
I didn't. Sandoval, the only guy to score for Chivas. Good guy, 20-year-old kid. I believe his dad was a professional player for Chivas. I know Joel can quote me on that or shoot that rumor down.
Yeah. I mentioned him last episode because he made his debut and then he continued to get some minutes this match and got a goal. So keep an eye on him. He looks fun.
Yeah, he did. His dad did play. Negro Sandoval.
Oh, that's his kid?
Yeah, bro. We've been talking about this because in the Chivas preseason, Milito brought him up. He took him with the team. Then he just started giving him more and more playing time, and he looks very promising. You see a few plays he does here and there, and it's crack level type. Of course, So let's hope he pans out and it's not just a flash in the pan or another trophies. But I think he's learned from his father's mistakes. Um, but yeah, he's one to look up for.
Another hijo de papi. Didn't he get arrested and shit?
Yeah, bro, that dude did a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I remember he got caught with like cocaine and shit.
That's why. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's. I think he's learned from his dad's mistake, or his dad has, maybe it's like a second chance, because Sandoval, he had the talent. He could have transcended more than he did in his career. But he just lacked discipline, and so he would get in this type of trouble, and it ultimately just affected him. Even though could have even gone to Europe. This going off of Hans Westerhoff, not me. He said he had that talent to be a national team player and play abroad, but that he just lacked discipline. But I think and this probably his revancha. His kid is there, and he's probably hopefully because you hear of the dads that just continue the party like the Dos Santos and
Yeah.
Neymar's and stuff. Neymar's
Chavez.
the story of can bring you a prostitute for the airplane
Yeah.
or but yeah. Hopefully it's the opposite, and he's pointing him in the right direction, and this kid will obviously not be in Chivas very long.
For sure. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. My hot take is I don't think Milito lasts the entire season. There, I said it. I also hope that in Leagues Cup, we get at least 2 Liga MX teams going through to the semifinals. We will try to make another episode this week after the Leagues Cup conclusion quarterfinals. So keep an eye out on that. Thank you all for your energy, your support, and we'll catch you all on the next one.